Hello and welcome. This is Jasur from Shanghai Silk Road and JRN firm. As you can see, in today's presentation, I'd like to talk about registering an international logistics company in Shanghai, China. And that's true in 2023, specifically April 2023. Now, before we go ahead, once again, if you are new in this channel, these are our company websites. Please check our services, and if there's anything that you would like help with, maybe company formation in China and a number of other countries, and also a lot of corporate legal services in China, in Hong Kong, in Singapore, feel free to contact us. There are a range of corporate services, both in Shanghai company and also JRN firm is a registered US company. You can check out both websites. And these are our contact details. Use this email, please, to contact us. And this telephone number is linked to Telegram, WhatsApp, WeChat. You can add us, and for quick communication, you can contact us through one of these messaging platforms. Now, let's start talking about registering an international logistics company in Shanghai, China as a foreigner. Starting from the basic requirements, like any other type of company that foreigners can start in China, you will need to, first of all, decide who are the shareholders. Now, the difference between regular trading and consulting companies and international logistics company is that in the case of international logistics company, local individual or company shareholder is required. Okay. Again, in the case of trading and consulting company, a local individual or company shareholder is not required, meaning you can own the company. For trading and consulting, you can own the company 100% as a foreign shareholder, as a foreign investor. But in the case of international logistics company, you have to be willing to give at least 1% of those shares to a local individual or a company. Okay, that's the main difference. If in your company there's no local individual or company shareholder, then your company will not be able to apply for international logistics license. That is very important to note. However, it can apply for logistics license which can provide shipping services inside China. Okay, there are so many, types of logistics. Obviously, everybody knows that. So you need to understand what sort of logistics you want to offer. Okay, but of course, most of the foreign clients that we have, and of course, most of our viewers here, obviously they will be interested in starting an international logistics company. So if that's the case, then you will have to have individual local shareholder or company shareholder. Okay, so maybe you try to communicate with your potential partners or existing partners and discuss the possibility of starting a company like this. So 99% can be owned by foreigners, 1% should be owned by a local individual or a company. Number two requirement is, this is very similar to other types of companies. So one individual legal representative. Okay, most people confuse this part, for example, with Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, you can have your company director as a company. Okay, you can use a local company in Hong Kong, or you can use a foreign company and appoint them as director. And also, for example, in different other countries as well, including Hong Kong, you can have multiple directors. But in China, in mainland China, you can have only one individual legal representative, aka company director. You cannot have more than one. That we're talking about CEO here, Chief Executive Officer. You can have the board of directors, but only one individual is the CEO, okay, managing director. So you need to have that. And there's no nationality restriction in here. You can have legal representative, aka company director, Chinese, or you can have someone from your own country. It does not really matter what nationality they are. But however, later on we're going to talk about this person, CEO of the company, managing director, should be able to travel to China. Okay, that is the main important point for the director. Number three requirement is one individual supervisor, aka company manager. So this again, one main supervisor. You can still have board of supervisors, that's not a problem, but only one among them should be the main company supervisor, and this legal representative and the main director and main supervisor, these two positions are required by the government in China for all types of companies. And these two will be listed in the system, in the government system. All right. So that's why you need to prepare two separate people to appoint them as legal representative and supervisor. Okay. They cannot be one person. Both of them, however, can be shareholders of the company. They can own some percentage. It does not matter. For example, director can own 99% of the shares in this scenario, because we're talking about logistics company here, and 1% belongs to a local individual or company. And supervisor, same goes true. Okay, so it's up to you how to decide the share structure. The next requirement is registered capital, and also this is the difference between usual, the most common type of company, which is trading and consulting company, and international logistics company. That's another difference. So in here, international logistics company requires you to be willing to write minimum 5 million yuan as registered capital. And now, as we discussed before, registered capital is not something required to be injected immediately. You can decide to inject it, partially or in installments over the course of the validity of your business license. Now in China, business license is given for 30 years. That is 30. It's so many years that you have this time frame to inject this registered capital. And when we talk about the registered capital, as we discussed before, even if you decide not to inject the registered capital and shut down the company, then you are allowed to do so. Okay, nobody is going to pursue you or follow you or punish you or nothing like that, because it's in the law, it's in these policies, new policies, and the government basically lets you test the market. If you decide to inject, you have this time frame. If you decide not to inject and shut down the company, stop your operations, that's also up to you. Okay, but in this case again, international logistics company requires you to write down and show that commitment that you're willing to invest over the course of your business license, minimum 5 million yuan. Now, physical office space. This is required now. Okay, you cannot have just registered address. Okay, and when we talk about the address, I keep repeating that in mainland China, virtual address is not legal. So what we offer actually in our package, in company registration package, is also a physical address, not an office. However, that address is useless in this scenario because international logistics company requires you to have a physical office space that you can rent or buy, where you can place your employees, where you basically provide your operations from. So that is a mandatory element, because otherwise the banks, tax office, customs office, they will not be willing to register your company. So this is another difference. A Chinese representative for communicating with the bank, this is also required. And now this requirement is new. I talked about this before in the previous video specifically. You can go ahead and watch that. So it's coming from banks specifically. All the major banks in China, they have started requiring this. If you do not speak Chinese, okay, if you speak Chinese as a company director, then most likely they will skip this requirement. However, if you do not speak, they don't want to, to be having this difficult time with you trying to communicate and trying to convey some sort of messages to you. So obviously, it makes sense to require a company to have a Chinese representative for communicating with the bank. Now, this representative can be employee of the company, or it can just be a representative without having any attachments to the company whatsoever. Okay, you don't have to, they don't really care if it's your employee or not. Okay, as long as this person is willing to stand in between yourself, your company, and the bank for the purpose of communication only. This person, representative, does not carry any responsibility or liabilities. However, most local people might be worried when you ask them to be a representative, especially the bank requires their contact and copy of the ID. So in that sense, maybe it's going to be a little bit challenging if that Chinese person is not attached to your company. If you hire them and they become an employee, then it's relatively easy to convince them that they, to ask them basically to be your company's representative. Okay, because logically speaking, if you approach some stranger or even your friend to be the representative, ask them to be the representative of your company for communicating, with the bank without actually hiring them, then, like I said, it might be a little bit challenging to convince them. So now time also very important that we talked about before for different other types of companies. In this case, international logistics company, it's approximately 4 months. Now, every single time when I talk about the timing for company formation in China, I highlight this, I emphasize this, that we are only talking about approximate timing. Please note that. Unfortunately, unlike many jurisdictions, countries, in China, timing is only approximate because there is, first of all, bureaucracy involved, and second of all, it's not standardized. Exactly like, we're talking about people coming from developed countries, right? And most of the time, the company formation, registration, or applying for licenses, all of these things are standardized. You can even watch the status online. But unfortunately, in China, it's not done yet. So you have to be a little bit patient. Of course, that doesn't mean that, we will delay things, or, we just let them be, and however long they take, no, it's actually the opposite. We are also interested in finishing the process as soon as possible. So we're going to do our absolute best to complete the process as soon as possible so we can move forward. But approximately talking, to start an international logistics company in Shanghai, it's going to take around 4 months. Of course, most people ask, do I have to be in China during these 4 months? The answer is no, you don't have to be here. Only times the company director is required to be here is for the bank, tax office, and customs. That's all. So basically, what we recommend to all of our clients to start the process from distance. So this way, for example, if you are in your country, what you can do is you can contact the Chinese embassy, and depending on the type of shareholder you are, if you are a corporate shareholder, then you need to get all of your documents, company documents, legalized through the Chinese embassy, okay, in the place of company registration. Just to illustrate, if your company is located in the United States, then you need to get in touch with the Chinese consulate or embassy nearest to you and ask them to legalize your company documents. That's in the case of corporate shareholder, right? Your US company is going to be the mother company of this international logistics company in Shanghai. And additionally to that, this individual legal representative is going to also legalize his or her passport through the Chinese embassy or consulate in the US. Now, these two documents, legalized company documents plus legalized passport of the legal representative, should be sent to our office in Shanghai by post. We require them original, both of them. And please note, we're not asking you to send the company documents, original documents. We're not asking you to send your original passport. We are just asking you to legalize both of them, company documents and your passport. And the legalization documents only should be sent to us by post. So once we receive them, we can start the process from distance. Now, once we obtained your business license, that's going to happen approximately within 10-15 days from the moment we start the process. So once we obtain the business license, now you can start preparing to visit China. And because, like we stated here, you will be required as a company director to visit the bank, tax office, customs for ID verification. So this way you can save a lot of time, money, and energy. So once you arrive, we're going to make an appointment. Actually, before you arrive, based on the schedule, we're going to communicate with yourself and the bank, and we decide on the timing. So you go, as soon as you are here in China, now there's no quarantine or nothing like that related to COVID. So as soon as you land in China, you will straight go to the bank, and maybe within the same week, we organize a visit to the tax office and customs for ID verification. Now, after that, you can leave China. That's it. So basically, between 1 and 3 weeks, you will have to plan, because although I say that maybe we can plan all this in 1 week, it would be totally incorrect to say that we can do it, because bank, tax office, and customs, they all accept through appointment. We need to obviously consider the timing of the bank and schedules of tax office and customs, and also your timing as well. So we always communicate between a client and these government offices. So you can schedule, you can plan to stay in China 1 or 2 weeks, okay, depending on the situation. After that, you can leave. Now, if you're planning to actually stay here and apply for work permit and visa based on your company, just like any other type of company that we discussed on this channel, the visas are given basically based on qualifications plus investment and other factors. Qualifications: minimum bachelor's degree, 2 years work experience, professional, paid, and non-criminal background check from the country of citizenship. A lot of people keep asking us, I lived in several countries, for example, 10 years in Dubai, or I don't know, 8 years in Malaysia, etc., but I'm from the US. Do I have to get criminal background check in different other countries where I lived? The answer is no, you don't have to. China only requires non-criminal background check from the country of citizenship. That's it. And when you get that, that's for visa, bear in mind. We're not talking about company registration now. So when you get your non-criminal background check actually from your country, that will have to be legalized at the Chinese embassy in your country. So that's very important. Okay, maybe before you come, if your plan is to get that residence permit and work visa, please also get your non-criminal background check and legalize it through the Chinese embassy and consulate. And also, on top of that, the qualifications, the diploma, minimum bachelor's diploma, bachelor's, master's, PhD, the higher the better. Okay, so you get your diploma and you legalize it where your university is located. If you, for example, just to illustrate, you are from the US, but you studied in the UK, now you will have to contact the Chinese embassy in London or consulate. And I get your diploma legalized over there, okay? Because the Chinese embassy or consulate in the US might not actually recognize or might not be able to legalize your UK diploma, obviously, because they are in the US, not in the UK, and they don't know, they don't recognize the UK university. All right, so they don't have the power to actually to do that. So these two things should be legalized through the Chinese embassy or consulate: diploma and non-criminal background check. And for your 2-year minimum work experience, you need to contact your previous employers. Okay, get the proof of employment letter, and once again, that employment should be professional, paid. Okay, no internship, nothing like that, or no volunteering job or anything like that. They don't count, they don't qualify. Okay, now when we talk about the visa, I keep mentioning that our company do not deal with visas. Okay, I need to make it clear. This is only for information purposes. Of course, in the beginning of the presentation, I told you that this information I'm talking about is true for 2023, specifically April. So again, this is general information, not legal advice or financial advice. So it's only for general information. Of course, once you can look at this information, and approximately you will have idea, because visa is a very sensitive topic. So we don't want to actually put anybody in a difficult situation by saying that this is the hard the information that you need to follow. No, we are very far from this. What we advise actually when it comes to visa, please contact the local immigration offices directly. So in the case of Shanghai, you are free to contact any immigration office, any district immigration office where you are planning to live. Okay, for example, you want to live in Jing'an, you want to live in Pudong, you can Google their number and call them. Most of them speak English. Okay, this is what I recommend. So shipping, now we're talking about international logistics company. What kind of shipping services this type of company can offer? This is air, land, and sea. Okay, so once you get international logistics company through us, we register it. your company will be able to offer air, land, and sea shipping. Okay, that means basically you can directly sign agreements with airlines, and land, that includes rail and also trucks, and you can also sign agreements with vessel companies directly without any middle companies. So that's the advantage of having an international logistics company in China. Now, this is pretty much all general information for international logistics company in Shanghai. Now, once again, these are our contact details, website, telephone number. Please feel free to contact us, and I will be glad to hear from you and answer any questions you might have. Thank you very much. See you guys in the next one.